So as we come into the fall season, our caladiums would have started to fade and the weather is getting colder. So the question is, what do we do with them? Do we save them? Do we toss them? Do we cover them? What do we do? In today's video, I'm going to answer all of those questions for you. And if this is your first time here, my name is Marlene. Welcome to Marlene's How-Tos, my home and garden channel. So here you can see how beautiful my caladium was in this container garden that I did here. And then came autumn, and you can see they're a little spindly, they're getting older and thinning out. And that's a natural part of the growth cycle of caladiums, unless you are in a very tropical area. And there are three things that you can do. You have three choices. The first one is to keep it if it's in a larger container like this, typically about 24 inches or larger. It's deep enough and wide enough. Unless you're in a very harsh climate, you would just go in and cut them back and then fill them with mulch, and they'll come back the following year. And typically when you're using the mulch, depending whatever kind you like, you basically go in and you're going to use 2 inches to 3 inches of mulch to cover it. But we're going to go into all of those details further in the video. Now, if it's a smaller container like the one on the left here, and you're in those colder areas, it most likely will not survive the cold. So you will have to take them up, and we're going to take a look at that further in the video as well. If you're not wanting to do either of those, you could just go ahead and plant some new ones in the spring, whether they're going to be from the corms like these here in the bag, or you're going to get the plants at your garden center. And I'll link this video at the end that shows you the step-by-step of how I did it last season. But either way, whether you're going to be having them stay in the pot or take them up, you will need to water them first if the soil was dry, because you want the soil to be workable. You want the plants to be refreshed when you're handling them, so that way it reduces the additional stress on the plant. As long as the soil is not too mushy though, in that case you wouldn't water them. You would just leave it as it is and then get to work. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I typically do this the night before I start. So we're going to go in, and we've been cutting them back here. So we just go in, and typically you go in and you trim them. Usually leave about 1 inch or 1/2 inch above the soil. And that's a decent mark to use in terms of the level that they would need to be at. And you just take them out and put them off to the side. And I'm also going to have to go and take out my begonias as well. And it's always kind of a difficult time of year when you have to go in and cut your plants out, even though they're fading out, because some of them still look good, but you have to do this to protect your plant before the hard freeze. It's better to just go in and do all of this before it comes to that. So again, I'm cutting back the begonias right here and just putting them over to the side. And if your plants are looking healthy, you can always go ahead and add them into your compost pile. And these pruners, I'll link them at the bottom for you in the description box where I got them from online on Amazon. And bear in mind that you will also need to keep your pruners clean when you're going from plant to plant, just in case there, is any disease, you don't have them spreading from one to the other. So we just go in now, we take off whatever mulch was there before and put them in our container, put them in our trash bag over here, whatever it is that you're using. And then everything should be clear. And then we're going to go ahead and add our mulch in. And in this case, I use cypress mulch, but of course, there are many different types that you can use. I like using this one though for the fall, because it looks a little bit like hay to me. You normally have like haystacks, hay rides and different things, scarecrows and all of that goes with fall. So I think it works really well. But typically I prefer pine bark mulch for most of the things that I do, pine bark nuggets. But whatever you choose, it's fine. It's going to be the same way that it's going to work out here for you. And it acts like a nice warm blanket over these plants. Of course, you're going to remove it when the spring comes around, but you're going to go in for the time being right now and just cover them over. And again, at least 2 inches you'd want to put there. If you are able to, you can add another inch and make it even higher up, just depending on what your plant, your planter can hold. And if you're liking this video so far, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It sends a good message out to YouTube, so it'll send it to other people. Now, if you see any little parts left back, like right there, you can go in and just snip them off, because you want it to be below the mulch that you're putting in there. And then you just go in and you get some more and you cover it over. So very easy. And this is a very relaxing part of gardening for me. And the next step here, very important, you'll want to go in and make sure that you're watering it afterwards, because this way it gives it a good soak. Because mulch, if you don't water it on top of the plant, it tends to wick the moisture away, and that's not good for what you're trying to achieve. So you basically want to go in and make sure you give them a really good soak. I like doing them before the rain falls sometimes too. It makes it easier. And of course, you want to be sure that you see the water running out from the pot, so that way you know that you did a really good job in terms of getting them thoroughly soaked. Now the next option, and this is option number 2, which is basically to go in and, take them out and store them. So first thing I'm doing here is to take off the mulch off of here. And in this case, this is a pine bark mulch that I'd used in the spring when I was planting them. So I'm going in and clearing all of these off. You can see we have some pine straws there as well too. We had, a lot of rain and wind coming through. And so, it's a little bit everywhere. And I keep these usually at the back. It's like my little plant clinic back here when I'm doing work on them. I start them off here and then I display them, at the front, the side, and just depending on what I'm doing. So you're going to use your trowel and go in and ease it out and give enough space because you don't want to damage the corms that are below. And I'll also link in the description box. This is a really nice trowel. You can get a similar type on Amazon, and you just go in and you take the soil off. And these, by the way, they're referred to as bulbs, but honestly for plants like this, they're actually corm, but they're both storage roots, whether it be bulb, rhizomes, corm, or whatever the case may be. They pretty much have the same function, which is to store food and supply to the plant as needed. So just be sure to go in and be gentle so you're not going in to damage the corm down there. And then just slowly ease it out. And you can see all the healthy looking roots right there. And at this point, if it feels kind of mushy, which is kind of unlikely unless you've had a hard freeze before you did this, they should, feel firm and be in good shape. And be sure to know what your growing zone is. If you're not sure, you want to go ahead and take a look online, see what you can find. It may be called your hardiness zone as well, just so you know how cold it gets in your area and you can refer to the number. Because I'm in growing zone 8. So this works really well for me, what I'm doing here, either way, whether I'm taking them up or if I'm going to go ahead and cover them. Every now and then you may have a really bad cold snap. So sometimes, it can be really cold. So bear those things in mind as well, too. So once you've taken them out, you want to go in and knock the excess soil off like I'm doing here, because you don't want to have too much of that on it there. And then I like to spread mine on paper, not plastic, so that way they will dry out properly, because you really want them to dry the right way, the moisture coming off slowly, and you put them in a shaded area. So these right here, these are actually looking, pretty dry to me right now. And at this point, what you would do is you can dust them with some fungicidal powder. In my case, I'm not going to be using fungicidal powder. I'm going to be making my own homemade fungicidal spray with hydrogen peroxide, and I'll go through the steps with you further in the video as to exactly how to do that as well. So the next thing that I typically do is to go in and I snip the leaves off from there. And you can see how it is looking. It looks like I nicked one of them at that point right there. But we're still going to keep it and see how it turns out. And it's just amazing to me that these little corm right here, or bulbs that there's loosely referred to, that this is what gives us these wonderful, wonderful plants. And by the way, guys, be sure to check out my my autumn playlist. You'll see all things autumn, things you can plant, things you shouldn't be planting, how to care for your plants, safety in the garden, all those things are in there. And I'll link it at the end for you. So they're all good to go here now. So we're going to go ahead and get our fungicidal solution made. So I'm using hydrogen peroxide. This is a 3% solution. And I'm also going to be, topping it up with water as well. So it's basically 1 part of the hydrogen peroxide to 2 parts of the water, because it is a 1% solution. Don't worry about the math. If you're not a math person, it's okay. Just put 1/3 in and fill it up to a cup, or double that, if you're wanting to do a lot more. And then I'm going to use my spray bottle to spray them. And I actually got that spray bottle from the dollar store. And it works really well. After they've dried for a few days, you'll want to go in and get I like to use my wax paper here, and I wrap them individually. And this helps to prevent them from drying out too much. And then I put them in the paper bag. And so if you like flowers and gardening, and you like lovely gardening tips, be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap on the notification bell twice so you never miss an upload. You'll see future videos and you'll be alerted when they come out. So we're going to go ahead now and go to the next step, which is to get our solution made. So you can see me putting the 1/3 cup in right there of the hydrogen peroxide. And guys, please be careful, because this will take the color out of your clothing. Also keep it away from children, because it looks like water. So please be careful if you decide to use any of this in this method. And then we're going to go ahead and fill up our spray bottle with the solution. And we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So this is how they're looking over here, guys. They're ready for the next step. We're going to go ahead and spray them. And I like to put them on the paper again, to spray them. So that way, it soaks it up, but at the same time, it helps it to dry out a lot faster than if you had it on plastic. So that's something that I definitely recommend. You can always flip them over as well to make sure that you're covering all of the various areas. And you can see the little roots on there, because when you're going to plant them in the spring, that's what's going to indicate to you which side is up and which side is down, which will also be in the video that I'm going to be linking at the end for you as well. So we just go ahead and turn them over. It's just amazing, how they look now, and to think what comes from them. I just think gardening is just such a wonderful thing. It just teaches us so much about life and about plants and all of that and how they relate. So once they're dry, we're going to go ahead and, wrap them in the wax paper like I was saying, and then in the paper bag. And then we're going to store them. And we'll talk about that in a little bit from now as well. So basically, you're going to put it in your brown paper bag, and then you go ahead and write the name of it on there so you know exactly what is in there. Especially if you have a lot of plants, you want to know what you're storing. And I like to use this kind of a clip right here, to keep it snug and in place, because you want to make sure that it has, it doesn't dry out too much. And so we have it good to go. And then we just wait, for spring to come around, and we can plant them and enjoy our wonderful caladiums again. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I'd love to see your comments on what you plan to do, because you have 3 choices, 3 different things that you could do. So I wish you a happy fall gardening. Thank you so much for stopping in today, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Take care.